I know they hate me. I know they hate me. Cops trying to catch me. If I need help, nobody gon' save me. Never only person I'm talking to lately. Rocking these chains with a thought it was slavery. I'm going crazy. I hop in the water cause you know I'm wavy. I need a hero, can somebody save me? Got 99 problems, don't know I ain't Jay-Z, yeah. I know they hate me. Cops trying to catch me.
What's happening out there, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So today I've got a very special video for you guys. I'm going to be telling you about my one-year fitness journey, and more specifically I'm going to be talking about 6 mistakes that I've made throughout this period of 1 year and exactly what I did to fix them. So these are some very common mistakes. I see them being made a lot, and I feel like if you could really get these to be understood and really be consistent with these, then it's quite possible that you could achieve what I have in less than a year. But really, the thing is that what really motivated me to make this video right now was that I was looking back to last summer of 2019 when, remember when traveling was actually a real thing? And I was looking at some of the pictures of me at the beach and at the pool, and I'd noticed that I had made a ton of progress since then. And by thinking about it, I had realized that I'd made a few mistakes that I hadn't really thought of before, so that's exactly what I want to talk to you guys about in today's video. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Before we dive into this video, I'd appreciate it if you guys could consider dropping a like down below, smashing that subscribe button, and also clicking on that bell notification so that you never miss a new upload. So with all this being said, I think it's about time to dive straight into this video. Let's roll that intro.
Every corner twice as bright, they'll be my treasures forever. When I can't hold you tight, I'll see the Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights, the Stockholm lights.
Alright man, I'm not going to waste any time today. The first mistake that I made with my fitness journey was that I didn't focus enough on my compound lifts, and I didn't also include enough exercise variety. So here's the thing, when I had just realized 1 year ago during about summer of 2019, I began doing more research into fitness and stuff like this, and I had just realized that compound exercises were responsible for most of the muscle growth, so this is really when I began to include a lot of these in my routines. But I didn't do it enough. Like, I realized that they had to be included, but I was still stuck on doing a lot of these isolation exercises because I really liked them a lot more. I had a lot more fun with them, and I felt like I just got more results from them. Even in the long run, I really wasn't seeing very many results from them, but the thing is, I wasn't really being very strategic with this at this time. I was just kind of doing what I wanted to do and doing what I thought was going to be the most fun. And at that time, training things like my biceps, my triceps, and my chest, those were really fun, and I felt like those are what gave me most of my results back then, and it probably was, since I wasn't including a lot of those compound exercises. But the thing is, like, if you're not including a lot of variety in your workouts, then your muscles are only going to be able to develop up until a certain point. They're not going to be able to develop to its full potential. Alright, so after realizing this, I began to really break down everything a lot more and really take everything a lot further than I ever had before. So just take, for example, like when I would take the bicep, because that was really definitely one of my favorite muscle groups by far. So instead of just doing straight bicep curls with a dumbbell, which is something that I would do pretty much every single workout routine that I had, I realized that I had to hit it from multiple angles, and I also did more research into anatomy and realizing that there are different parts to the same muscle. Each muscle has different heads, such as the tricep has 3 heads, bicep has 2 heads, and so on and so forth. And this is the thing, like, I realized that you could hit a same muscle from many different angles, and just with that bicep, I could do bicep curls to hit the short head on the outer side of the bicep, the long head on the inner bicep, and also to do something like chin-ups to really help to work a compound exercise into working each muscle. So the thing is, like, you can combine these isolation exercises with these compound exercises in order to develop the muscle fully and really allow it to reach that full potential that it may not otherwise have been able to do if you were to focus on isolation exercises only. Alright, so mistake number 2 that I made is actually not something that I did, it's actually something that I didn't do. And what that was is actually the notorious mistake of not training my legs and not training my abs. And this kind of all played out from not having a correct workout split that is going to allow me to build the most muscle and to be the most effective. Because the thing is, think about this for a second. I used to only train my upper body, and I still trained 3 days per week. So I would break those 3 days up into completely upper body exercises that was nothing but biceps, triceps, chest, shoulders, and back. So between all of that, I still felt like I was pretty busy. I felt like I was getting a lot of work done, but in the long run, I wasn't really getting that much done. I was neglecting an entire bottom half of my body as well as my abs, and that was a huge mistake. And the thing is, I feel like I was just not really concerned with something that I couldn't necessarily see in the mirror. I was concerned more about the aesthetic results of what I could see, and I was kind of not really basing it off of long-term health and long-term strength. I was just kind of looking for an immediate result, and I felt like training my upper body only would get me there. So during that time, this is exactly what my routine looked like. On Monday, I would train biceps and triceps. On Wednesday, I would train chest and shoulders, and then on Friday, I would train a combination of everything. I would do one exercise for every muscle group within the upper body. And this did get me some better results, and since my routine before was just training biceps and chest, and this is an obvious upgrade, but the thing is, between then and now I train full body 3 times per week. And this actually does include legs, just so you guys know. I am now training my legs, I am now training my abs. So I am improving. I'm trying to do everything that I can to improve, and I really feel like since I've been working full body, I have been seeing so much more results than I ever had during any of the other workout splits that I had. And this really has showed me and allowed me to create so many more gains than I had ever been able to before. Even when I had a gym membership, I wasn't really being strategic about what I was doing, and even though I had access to an entire gym of equipment, I wasn't making enough progress, and I wasn't making the same amount of progress that I am now with much less equipment, but still, like, just goes to show how much strategy really plays into all of this. Our mistake number 3 is a huge one, and this happens to do with the balance of my diet, or actually the lack thereof, because back then I didn't eat a balanced diet at all, and even though I was trying to eat less in order to take my body fat percentage down, I wasn't necessarily choosing the most natural options for the food that I was eating. And just keep in mind that in that photo that I showed you where I was at the beach, I had just pulled off the first cut that I had ever been able to do, and I'd lost somewhere between 5 and 10 pounds, and that really allowed me to reveal a lot of muscle definition. Definitely much more than I had ever been able to before, and this is kind of what allowed me to see what impact diet really has on the way that we look and the way that we feel. So the solution that I made for this was, in addition to eating less sugar and less processed foods, I tried to switch to everything being more natural and having more high sources of protein, more quality sources of carbs, and quality sources of fat. Because it's not just the amount of macros that you eat, it's also where those macros come from that is going to affect you. And in addition to that, drinking things like soda and juice is going to be responsible for a lot of extra calories that aren't really necessary throughout the day. So if you replace that with water, that's just going to make a huge difference. And I know I've mentioned that a lot, but it's made such a huge difference with my diet. And it would be a fool not to mention this as many times as I can, because it's just such an important thing. And just eating as healthy as you can and trying to find more balanced sources of food that have all of the macros that you still need and still fulfill your calorie needs are something that is so important to do. And it's something that gets overlooked so often, but it's something that you definitely cannot leave out if you're trying to pull off any type of transformation. Alright, it's starting to get a little hot out here, and while I do enjoy the heat, I'm not really anywhere near the beach, so I can't really go out and take a dip or go out surfing or anything, so I'm going to head back inside right now. It's actually about time for me to hit my workout for the day, so I'm going to take you in there. I'm going to continue this video, and I'm going to tell you the last 3 tips that I'm going to have, and these tips are really just as important as the first 3, and they really made a huge difference, just as everything else in this video did with my transformation. So stay tuned. Let's go hit this workout. Roll that music.
Nobody gon' save me. Never only person I'm talking to lately. Rocking these shirts with a thought it was slavery. I'm going crazy. I hop in the water cause you know I'm wavy. I need a hero cause somebody save me. Got 99 pounds, don't know I ain't Jay-Z. Yeah. Nothing gon' phase me. My eyes so chill like I've been getting lazy. Broke them bullets, they calling him Brady. Don't hop in my water, a nigga too wavy. Somebody save me. Jumping my girl, but I need me a lady. She ain't my kid, but she definitely my baby. Gave you my trust, should've known you betrayed me. I'm number 1 just like Tracy McGrady. Life is so shocking like somebody tased. Been losing my mind, I think I'm going crazy. 99 pounds, but no, I ain't Jay-Z. Just let my son go, why you tryna blame me? Think about the chances and blessings God gave me. Balance my lows, but I'm feeling real shaky. Buying my swag, I think you gave me rage. Never only person I'm talking to lately. Give it too much, you might slip. I did 38, cover it with my drip, yeah. Don't want no fuck on myself, I got someone's.
Alright everyone, so mistake number 4 that I made during my transformation was not focusing enough on my exercise form and on the mind-muscle connection. Because the thing is, when I was just starting out, it's probably similar to most other people. You'd walk into the gym, you'd pick up a heavy barbell, a heavy dumbbell, and you feel really good after being able to lift that. And the thing is, even though your form isn't just straight on point and it's not exactly how it should be, you still feel really good after lifting that heavy weight, then walking out of the gym. But the real thing is, when you're trying to look for progress, you're not going to find it if you're just not focusing on feeling that actual muscle work. Like if you're doing bicep curls and your arm is swinging around all over the place, you're not going to see any progress because it's no longer the bicep working. Other muscles start to take over and you're not going to see this type of progress that you really want to. So my solution to this was pretty simple. What I did was I just decreased the weight on almost every exercise that I was doing, especially the lighter lifts. Like the compound exercises, I felt pretty good about those, but on the isolation exercises such as bicep curls and overhead press, then I was kind of a little bit iffy on the form and I didn't know exactly how to do it correctly with the weight that I was using. So after lowering the weight, what I did was slow down each repetition so I could actually feel that muscle working, and I could actually build up that mind-muscle connection with each muscle. And after I started doing this for a little while, I noticed immediate results. I noticed that the muscles would respond a lot better and they would develop a lot more evenly, and I would just feel like I got a better pump during each exercise that I would do. And I didn't feel like any other muscles were taking over after having fixed my form up like this, so it was a huge improvement. Alright everyone, so mistake number 5 that I made was, actually it's not necessarily a mistake, it's just an opportunity that I didn't really have. And what that was is I didn't have this Olympic set right here to work with. The only thing I had was this bench over here, this pull-up bar, and a couple non-adjustable dumbbells. And the reason that this was such a mistake, why I would call it a mistake, is that I couldn't utilize progressive overload while I was doing this. And with this Olympic bar, it's very easy to do anything that relates to progressive overload, because all that you do to add is to add some weight onto this. You add a 2.5 on either side, add a 5 on either side, and there you go. You just continue to do this over and over again, week after week, and then pretty soon your lifts start going up. But if you're not able to add weight onto your list, then you're not able to employ progressive overload, and therefore your muscles aren't going to be able to grow at the same rate, and they're not going to be able to be developed like they would at the gym. So progressive overload is a huge concept right here that works very well to build muscles. It's one of the best out there, and it's one of the most talked about concepts in the entire fitness community. So if you're not doing it, then you're not going to be able to see any progress. So after I bought this bar, I was able to include so many more compound exercises into my routines, and I was able to just do so much more with this. It's just been so great to have this. It's like almost like I'm actually at a gym right now, and I'm able to take this all the way up to 300 pounds. So I'm pretty much covered for the time being, and I can always buy more weight too if I need that. So it's very easy to add this progressive overload with a barbell set like this. So if you have a home gym, I definitely recommend you buy one. But if you don't believe me, here's a chart right here that shows all of the gains that I was able to make, and I'll throw it up on screen as well just so you guys could see what it looks like, and you could also see the kilo conversion if you're living outside of the United States. So just to run through it really quick, with bench press I was able to increase it by 20 pounds, back squat 65 pounds, front squat 50 pounds, deadlift 45 pounds, weighted pull-up 15 pounds, weighted chin-up 35 pounds, weighted chest dip 40 pounds, and then finally overhead press 20 pounds. So it just goes to show that it makes a huge difference if you have the ability to create progressive overload, and if you have the ability to just be a little bit better every single week or every single couple weeks, because you don't tend to make PRs every single week. But as long as you have the option to do so, you can add weight whenever your body is ready to go up a little bit, then it'll make a huge difference. Alright, so mistake number 6 that I want to talk to you guys about today, this is the final one on the list. Even though I made more, this is where I'm going to stop the list for today, because I could probably go on for days if I were to tell you every mistake that I made. But anyways, back to the point. Number 6 was that I didn't take advantage of different rep ranges, and I also didn't warm up properly before my workouts. Because when I would always start my workouts off with some type of compound exercise, and often that would be bench press back in the day. So what I would do is I would just throw my working set on the bar straight off the bat, and I would just hit that working set without stretching, without doing any progressive adding weight onto the bar to work my way up to that working set. No, I wouldn't do any of that. I would just throw the entire weight on the bar and just go all at it. And this worked for me at a time because, you know, I'm still young. I could probably still do this right now if I wanted to, but it's not sustainable to build muscle like this, and it's not sustainable for your joint health either. It's not good to just overload your muscles like this all without warming them up at first, and to overload your joints like this. And I'm so glad that I learned ways to warm up, ways to stretch, and ways to kind of work my way up to my working sets, and I feel like I perform much better now that I'm doing that. And the second thing here that I didn't do was I didn't take advantage of those different rep ranges. So for example, the hypertrophy range versus the strength range. Everything that I would do, no matter what exercise, whether it be a compound lift or an accessory lift, I would always do it within the 8 to 12 rep range. I wouldn't ever do anything within the 4 to 6 rep range, and I also wouldn't do anything above 12 reps. And this is a mistake because every muscle responds better to different types of stimulus, and even the same muscle can respond to, if you have one day where you do hypertrophy and then another day later on in the week where you do strength, then this can really help balance out the muscle and give it the proper stimulus in order to grow more and to be more strong, with the balance between having endurance and having strength. And I didn't know this at the time, but once I found this out, I started to really work this into any type of exercise that I could. So now I tend to use the compound exercises for the lower rep ranges to build strength, and then with my accessory lifts, I do a higher rep range to help build that endurance and to also help to tone out the muscle and to build more mass for those. So none of these mistakes that I mentioned today are necessarily hard to fix, but it's just a matter of knowing what you're doing and doing the proper research and the proper planning, proper strategizing before you step into the gym and before you start planning your diet. Because every single thing that you do when it comes to building muscle, transforming your body, is going to make a huge difference. It doesn't matter how insignificant it may seem or how grand it may seem. There's always going to be some type of impact held by every action that you do. So I just hope to spread some knowledge here, and I hope to clear up any type of ambiguities that you guys might have when it comes to transformations. And hopefully if you guys have been making any of the mistakes on this list, hopefully you guys can clear that up and get back on track. And so if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And I just want to thank everyone who has been watching my videos lately. I recently hit 150 subscribers on this channel. I want to thank every single one of you guys who have been supporting me. It really means a lot. So for the time being, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you're able to take something away from this. I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you enjoyed this one, I'd really appreciate it if you could smash that subscribe button. Also drop me a thumbs up down below and turn on that bell notification so you never miss a new upload. I'll catch all of you guys in my next video. But until then, stay fit, stay hungry, keep up that hustle, enjoy life, take it easy, and as always, have fun. I'll catch you guys next time. Much aloha, peace.
Just put my son, but why you tryna blame me? Think about the chances and blessings God gave me. The thoughts my lows, but I'm feeling real shaky. Buying my